heart and soul of the game is at the boxing voice. Ain't no other sight in the game could see the boxing voice.
BoxingVoice.com here with Coach Joel Diaz. Coach Joel Diaz, talk to us about Bradley versus Vargas, how this fight came about, and I'll talk about it a little bit more later after that.
Well, this fight came about. You know, we were getting ready for a fight, and at some point they mentioned Timothy to fight in Miguel Cotto, and you know, everything was going on, everything was going back and forth. And Tim was telling me, Coach, I think it's gonna be Cotto. I think it's gonna be Cotto June 6th. So all of a sudden, you know, things didn't work out with Cotto. And we're just laying back until one day, you know, Tim comes and tells me, hey, Coach, I think we're fighting Jesse Vargas. How did this come about? He says, well, I think Jesse Vargas came to the office in Top Rank, and he demanded a big fight. Jesse said that he was ready to step up to the next level and fight the big fights. So, you know, Bob Arum said, okay, you want a big fight? Bradley's there. And that's where everything came about.
Now, I know in the past you've raved and ranted about the fact that Tim Bradley isn't Mayweather, isn't Pacquiao, and he doesn't have the ability to choose his opponents. How do you feel about that? You know, getting somebody like Jesse Vargas who's stepping up for Bradley and not Bradley stepping up to his own type of competition.
You know, how I feel about it, I mean, it was frustrating at first, but now I just got to deal with it. You know, I just think that Tim has earned his spot the hard way, and he's still going to keep doing it. You know, we have an undefeated fighter. You know, even though he's coming up from 140 to 47, we cannot underestimate Jesse Vargas. He's a great fighter. He's young, you know, and he has great ability. You know, and he is a very dangerous fighter because he is hungry to be up there. He's moving up to 47 to fight for a world title there. He's a world champion at 140, so he wants to capture a title at 147. And I just think it's a very very tough fight for us, due to the fact that Jesse wants that spot. And, you know, it's not an easy fight for us, even though he comes from a junior welterweight division.
Now, both of these guys have great boxing talent, but for some reason they seem to just not use it in the ring anymore. They tend to brawl more now. Why is that? Especially Bradley. Why is that he tends to brawl more instead of use his boxing ability?
You know what? On Bradley's side, he started brawling a little bit because there was a point in his career where he was doing great boxing. He was moving around. He was boxing, using his boxing, like you said. But it seems like nowadays people don't like to see that. People are used to, I mean, they want to turn on the TV and watch a fight, and they want to see blood all over. They want to see people go down and come up, and I mean, they want to see cuts, blood, knockdowns, and everything. So Tim tried to change himself, you know, to give people what they want to see. You know, you saw it with Ruslan Provodnica when he fought Ruslan. He could have made that fight boring. And honestly, we could have made that fight boring for everybody. I told Tim, you know what, Tim? Box this guy. Box him. Hit him and move. Hit him and move. He will not hit you. He will not catch you. But that night, he wanted to please the crowd due to the fact that he had that big weight on his back because of the controversial fight over Pacquiao. They got him into problems. But then we go into the Marquez fight, and I made him realize, you have great ability to box. Box him. Don't get in there and exchange with him. You're going to get in problems. And that's what happened. But you know what? Nowadays, you know, Tim has put both things together. He can box and he can brawl. But it also depends on the opponent in front of him. And I think that for this one, if Jesse Vargas don't have the power to hurt Bradley, he's in for a rough night.
Now, what you said couldn't be any more truer because the last 3 weeks of boxing have actually shown us that. You know, a lot of people don't like boxing, like you said, and what we got in Mayweather versus Pacquiao was exactly that, a boxing lesson, and everybody pretty much said it was a boring fight, that it wasn't worth the $100 pay-per-view. And then you get Canelo, and then you get Golovkin and Roman Chocolatito doing what they did, and HBO is blowing it up like the greatest thing to ever happen. Why is it that you think more people want to see brawls instead of boxing lessons?
It's about the action. You know, it's not about the sweet science of the sport. You know, boxing is about, you know, hitting and don't get hit. But now people want to see action. They want to see, you know, people get off their seats and scream and yeah, you know, somebody went down and somebody's about to go down. They want to see brawls. You know, they want to see a fight like Castillo Corrales. You know, something like that. Those are the fights that people want to see. But then in that case, you're not watching a boxing match. You're watching a fight. You know, but I mean. Now, you know, things in boxing changed. A lot of people don't want to see Rigondeaux They don't like him. I mean, he's one of the best. One of the best in the world. But they don't want to see him because he's boring. And boring means that he knows the ability to move. He don't get hit, and he hits. But, you know, I just don't know. I mean, people want to see action. That's what they want to see. They don't want to see, you know, a boring fight of somebody just hitting and moving. And, you know, they call stopping the action, they call it hugging now, you know. I mean, it's like, I teach my fighters, if they're in trouble, you know what, close the gap, you know, lean against your fighter. That doesn't mean you're holding, you're hugging, you're just stopping the action.